Listen, unless you're a tax nerd like me, filing your taxes is not anyone's favorite thing to do. That said, it can be a lot easier than you think it's going to be, and I'm going to show you how by walking you through the tool that I personally use and love to file my taxes. I've been using Simple Tax ever since about 4 years ago. My mom called me up and was like, listen, I'm not filing your taxes anymore, and I was like, what the hell? I was 23, it was fine. It was time for me to do my own taxes. So she hands me this pile of documents, and I'm just looking at it like, what am I supposed to do now? Luckily, I went online, Googled how to do your own taxes in Canada, and I found Simple Tax, and it is phenomenal. I've used them for the past 4 years to do my taxes, and I want to show you guys a real life example of how quickly you'll be able to do your taxes if, like me, you don't have a really complex tax situation, which, like, let's be serious, most millennials won't. You're going to have, your T4 from your day job. You might have some charitable contributions you want to claim. Definitely got some public transportation if you're anything like me in the first few years I was out of school. And maybe some Rrsp contributions. So without further ado, let's head over to Simple Tax, and I'm going to show you how quickly you can file your simple taxes. So this is simpletax.ca, and it's the software I've been using for the past 4 years, and I love it. So let's dive right in. You can poke around the website if you want, but this is about filing your taxes. So let's get started. Can we also just acknowledge that you look amazing today is the absolute best loading text? I mean, like, thank you, Simple Tax. I did do my makeup for this video, but like, thank you for noticing. So this is the welcome message, and yes, this is actually Clint. His name is really Clint. But whether or not you've used Simple Tax before, you can log in, but let's go through as I'm new to Simple Tax, and you can either create an account right away, or you can go through and play with it and see. I know play is such a word that people use about taxes, but you can see how easy it is. So let's start without an account, and what it'll start you with is adding in your 2016 tax return details. So just, the basic, like your name, your age, your social, all the things that the CRA really needs if it's going to file your taxes. So you can see how easily laid out it is. Now, I'm not going to show you any of my details here, but after scrolling through, I am going to go back and fill them out outside of the video, because details like your age, whether you're a resident, your family status, will actually impact what your return is or how much tax you owe. So let's start by adding something to our tax return. And this is actually a search box, but when you click in, you'll start to see that the top most popular things are actually front and center. So since most people who DIY their taxes will have a T4 statement from their employer, let's start with that one because it was one of the 4 that we were going to put in. So all you have to do is click and it'll pop in here with everything you need. So if you've got your T4 in front of you, I actually made a fake one. So let's put fake employer Inc. and I'll show you what it's like to actually put in everything. So number 10 here is your province of employment, and that'll matter for the numbers and the tax calculations. But based on my fake T4, let's put in my $54,900 salary that I made up. And you can see when you hover over the number what it actually signifies. So these little numbers will be beside all of the different numbers on your T4. And basically you just have to play a matching game of, like, if it says 14 on your T4, you put it in this box. So let's head right on down to 16, which is the CPP contributions. So I'll pop in what I calculated as my fake CPP contributions and move right along to 18, which is the EI premiums that I fake paid this past year. So we'll put that in as well. And what you can actually see happening over on the side before I click away from this is that when I put in my income, I owed a lot because I hadn't accounted for any of the taxes that had already been taken off. But then as I put in things like my CPP premium, like my EI premium, you can start to see that, okay, it's fine, it's going down. I still owe a lot though because we haven't put in number 22, which is the income tax deducted. So this one is going to be big. So this is number 22 on your T4. So I'll put in my fake income tax and click away. Bam, instead of owing, now I have a $276 refund, and you can actually see right down here the change. Oh, that didn't highlight well. But the change here was the exact amount that I put into the taxes I had already paid. So I've got two more to put in here quickly. So the EI insurable earnings, I purposefully chose a salary to put into my fake T4 that would allow me to max out both of these. And 26 is the CPP pensionable earnings. So I'll put that in as well. Neither of those change anything. It's just important for record holding. So we've got our T4 in, and that's done. And that's really kind of the big one. We've just filed taxes for everything you need to do when it comes to your employment income. So we'll head right on down to add something else to our tax return, and let's do donations and gifts next. So we've got our 2016 donation to, let's say, a registered charity. And I'll use the example of one of my favorite rescues in town, Sit With Me Rescue. They're a rescue that helps dogs who need homes. And to keep things simple, let's say that I gave them $600 one time this year, and I found the tax receipt in my Gmail, so I've got a record of it. So you put that in, and when you do, you can see that it actually increased my refund by $201. So that's pretty great. It's a nice little perk of doing good in the world. You get that tax back. And let's say that was it for me for the year. So I did that one-time donation, and now I want to add my public transportation. So I'm actually going to search for this one because it's not high up. So just search, there we go, public transit amount. So I would have taken OC Transpo because I live in Ottawa and that's what our buses are called. And if it was $100 a month and I had a monthly pass for all 12 months, let's put in $1,200. You'll want to make sure that you're exact with this number. Don't just guesstimate. But when I put that in, you can see that I got $180 back. So my refund just went up to compensate me for the fact that there's a tax refund if you take public transportation. So that's pretty great. And then let's move on to the really big one, which is Rrsp Contributions, which again is number 3. It's a pretty popular one. So we'll add that in here. So did I make any Rrsp contributions? I'm going to say yes, and that'll pop up the ability to fill in the details. So to claim a deduction, I need to know my deduction limit. And if you're not sure, this link will pop up a really helpful article on exactly how to find it by talking to the CRA. So if you need to know, that's where to find it. Let's make one up. So let's say it's $15,000 is my Rrsp deduction limit. And let's go pop in contributions. So there's 2 different categories of contributions to your Rsp, which is the one we're going to focus on. And you can do ones that you contributed March 1st to the end of the year in 2016, or you can contribute from January 1st to the end of February in 2017. It's a long story. It's like boring tax details, but let's just put in the contributions that I made during 2016. And I use Wealthsimple to invest all of my Rsp money because it's for the long term, so I might as well invest it. And let's say I sent them $4,000 to invest in my Rsp last year. Click away, and bam, that added over $1,000 to my refund, which is pretty great. The Rsp does give you a pretty good bang for your buck when it comes to your tax season. So let's add one more contribution, because if you contribute to your Rsp monthly, which is what I recommend, you're going to have some to account for in January 1st to March 1st of this year as well, because those monthly contributions would keep going. So let's do Wealthsimple again, and let's say it was $1,200 over the past 2 months. Click away, and there you go. You're rocking over a $2,000 refund, which is pretty great. So let's just say, no, I don't have leftover contribution room. And let's say, no, I didn't use either of these programs to withdraw money. And that's kind of it. You've now added your T4 slips, your donation and gifts, your public transit, and your Rrsp deduction. And you're basically done if that's all you need to do. Simple Tax will help you by checking and optimizing your return, and will highlight any errors, which you'll definitely have in this return because I filed it with fake information. And then you'll have a summary of everything that they've done. They can maximize your refund for you, all of the official documents. And then when you're ready to submit, it's check and optimize, and you're good to go. See how easy that was? I wouldn't lie to you guys. I was not like overselling how simple it would be to put all that stuff in. So now that you've seen everything, go over and try out Simple Tax for yourself. And the one thing that's really great about it is it's a pay what you want software. So you can put in all your details, you can play around with the tool, and when you go to hit submit your return, it'll actually pop up and ask you like, hey, everything's done, it's all handled. If you thought this was valuable, pick the price that you'd like to pay. So if it saved you an hour of your time, think about how much that hour was worth and maybe hit like a, 25 or 30 bucks. Thanks, Simple Tax, you did good. That's it for me, and I'm off to actually go hit submit return because I've got all my taxes filed, I've got all my forms in place, and NetFile is actually open for Canadians. So I'm gonna go do that now. If you like this video and you want to make sure that you get notified every time I've got a new one, go hit the subscribe, follow. I don't know what the YouTube button is, but go hit that one that means that you're subscribing to my channel. I would love that, and happy tax season, everybody.